Hello, everybody. Welcome back to James and Flav for now. My name's James. This is Flav.
All right, mate. All right. We still number one?
No. Off a cliff, innit?
Falling off cliff, is it?
I'm scared to look now. I don't even want to look.
Can we do it all again?
Yeah, guys. Come on. Now we need you. We've done so much for you by talking drivel for 4 years. Now's the time. And it's not 1 week in. This is a marriage. It's international break. Exciting times. We can reflect on the Premier League season thus far. Big yawn there in anticipation for the podcast there from Flav. Lovely. I've got
still 13th. Still 13th.
Really, that is a drop off in it. That does feel like.
Well, we got top 10 and we were like buzzing. Now we're 13th in a legitimate week.
That's true.
The system hasn't been gamed, and you're saying it's not good enough.
Do you are? Actually, is that a bigger achievement? Here's going back to a bit. So basically, in the podcast today, we've got some great comments, very funny comments. One of which got 217 likes, an unwritten rule. We've got office chat. We've got some people. A lot of people seem to want to tell us how they became fans of their club, and again, we can cast our judging eye on that. A couple of people with one person in particular with a very interesting idea when it comes to stopping Erling Haaland. Last week we spoke about what kind of injury we could.
What was acceptable? What's in the realms of acceptable? What kind of injury can we wish upon him without being bad people?
Little tease for that. Here's a word that's involved in one of the comments: paralysis. A new bit I didn't think we'd do is a bit of Jake Humphrey encounters, a bit of fan fiction on Jake Humphreys, who of course took a battering last week as the James and Flav for Now podcast reached the heady heights of number 1 and number 10 in all podcasts. Ridiculous. Yeah. And also, Potter is the type of guy. A lot of people getting involved in that. We had some fun with that last week. So lots to talk about, and a cheeky Samism at the end. How are you generally, Flav? Because I always like to check in when it comes to like stop gaps in the season or just junctures in the season. Are you excited by the international break? I know you're not excited, but how are you generally feeling? Let's have a look at the Premier League table.
I don't want to look at that. I thought you was asking generally how I am, because I'm not.
Oh yeah, that too.
I'm not good.
Oh,
I've just come back from holiday and I'm really sad about that, and I want to be on holiday forever. Why can't we all just be on holiday forever? I'll tell you what I will say about the Italians. This is not going to go down well. All right, this is more bordering on xenophobia, and I'll admit that. Sure. Nothing's open ever. There's no shops open ever in Italy, apart from when Italians know when they're open. It's like a secret code they won't let the foreigners in too, because they don't want us in their shops. I don't know how the Italian economy works. It doesn't make any sense at all.
How did it get
Because nothing's ever open.
Yeah. What are you like? I might just nip down for some eggs. It's 10:15 on a Wednesday. Don't think it's going to be open.
I said to the woman, we stayed in this very remote place in Marche, which is quite a rural, beautiful rolling hills of Italy. Stunning, absolutely beautiful country. And I said to the lady, well, it's Monday, maybe we'll go dip down to Trea, which is the nearest sort of town. Maybe get some lunch, because obviously Italians are famous for their food. She was like, oh, it's a Monday. Yeah. It's the start of the working week. Monday.
Yeah.
What's coming next?
We're excited about the new fresh produce that, of course, will be on the shelves on a Monday.
Yeah, I was just excited just to see a bit of Italy, but there's no one around, and there's just no one there, and they are there, and they're just in their houses. I don't know. Anyway, other than that, one of the best areas of the world I've ever been to. Incredible.
Italy and France bloody love a bank holiday, don't they?
Well, they love a bank holiday, but they also love they almost love a bank holiday in the middle of every single day. 3 hours they close the shop for.
Well, that's the siesta, isn't it? Which apparently they all live a bit longer because they have the capabilities of napping.
I mean, they absolutely do not give a shit about my opinion, and I appreciate it.
Sure. Understood.
All right, league table, what are we looking at? What's going on?
Well, one comment from the patrons. By the way, if you want to become a patron, please get involved. We normally do mailbags, but we're struggling this week. Apologies for that, guys. Catherine with a really important comment here where she says, where is it? Starting a sentence with this is going to sound xenophobic, is never a good start. We're learning stuff.
I don't think people are that bothered about xenophobia though.
It's through the roof. It feels like I can't even do accents anymore. It's a shame.
But genuinely you can get away with being xenophobic, especially if you say, "I think this is going to come across badly," because you admit in your own thoughts before you do them. But racism,
how far does that go though?
That's
yeah,
hard
exactly.
No. Racism's a hard no.
This
I
is
think
good
in any decent person they realise that racism is a hard no.
Hard no.
I think at the moment xenophobia is kind of like it's frowned upon. People don't like it, but you're not going to get cancelled for it.
Light xenophobia. It's like going, come on,
playful. Come on, we're just playing about.
Yeah.
That's sort of my take currently.
Okay. Morgan Ryan says, you've got my permission to use an Irish accent, Tim. Well, there you go. Result. Where does Gisco's deep conversation here in this football podcast? Where does xenophobia stop and racism begin? Interesting.
Well, no, it's clearly it's defined, isn't it? It's definable. They both what this is why definition and understanding what language is really important. Racism is something very specific, and xenophobic is something much more general. But whatever, it's taking the piss out of something that's different, or taking rise, or having an issue with someone who is different from you, or different. It's not specifically racism,
right?
Xenophobia is more broad than that.
Good. So we
understand the definitions of those, don't we? It's important that we understand the definition of words.
Okay. Last one just from the chat here, because they're on fire today. Morgan Ryan once again. Anyone ever tried carbonara pizza? Absolutely beautiful. I went to Italy once, and the missus got a pizza with chips on top. It came. That was it. That was the pizza. It kind of came with chips on top, and I felt offended. I was like, "This isn't Italian." And she was like, "Well, it's on an Italian menu, so shut up." And she slapped me. She slapped me in the face, and I was like, "Oh yeah." So I nutted her, and then we sat down and we had a lovely meal. Once she got some ice. No, I'm not joking. Can we joke about that?
I don't know. I don't know what we can joke about.
Is this the title for this week? What can we joke about? That was a joke, just to be clear.
Yeah, you do not no one genuinely believes that you headbutt your wife.
Nah,
Jim. I hope.
Premier League table, shall we? Thoughts on Arsenal? Look at them, right at the top there, 18.
They are
exciting video coming out tomorrow on the channel called "How Arteta Made Arsenal Great Again."
Oh, mate, what happened to the end of last season when what's happening with Arsenal? I get your job. I know you have to. I know, I understand YouTube. I get it, right? And it's not your fault. But you can't call them great after 7 games. Call Spurs great then. We're a point behind them. Call us great.
Not top
We've
of
got
the
better goal.
You're languishing it. You're languishing in third.
Languishing in third. Yeah, just dismantling a very good, underrated, underperforming Leicester side.
There's no way. This is good, actually. There's no way you can say that Tottenham are better than Arsenal right now. You can't win that argument at this moment in time, because
I'm not 14. I couldn't give a shit about that argument. I don't care who's better. Do you know how long, James? Do you know how long I've lived my life where Arsenal have been better than Spurs? Do you think I'm not built for this? I understand.
Or in the arena. How long you've been in the arena of Arsenal versus Spurs?
Long time. So there's nothing Arsenal fans can say that will hurt me, because it's been said a million times before, sticks and stones and all that. It is frustrating that they look. The difference is Arsenal look convincing, and Spurs don't look convincing. Form changes, circumstances changes, injuries happen, games pile up. What is reality now won't be reality throughout the season. And that could mean Spurs fall away and Arsenal continue. But whatever we are right now isn't where we're going to be in 6 months. So this is going to be a weird season. So don't get too carried away. Don't get too cocky.
Okay.
I'm not giving it to Chelsea, like saying that we're 7 points above them after 7 games. I'm not saying any of that, because it's early days.
Yep, Liverpool down in 8th. Unbelievable.
Fulham,
Fulham 6th. Brighton 4th.
Can I just call something? And this is something I've been talking about on the Fighting Cock podcast.
That's the Fighting Cock podcast.
Yes, indeed. Any Spurs fans out there, look at this. What a little shock.
That's delightful.
On the Fighting Cock podcast, I've been saying that I think Spurs' best formation will actually be a 3-5-2 with Son and Kane up front.
Okay.
And I've seen us play against 3 sides. Played it 3 times. We played it against Manchester City, where we won. And we played against Liverpool, where we battered them. We should have beaten 5-2 at White Hart Lane last year.
Mm-hmm.
We also saw it the minute we switched against Leicester and scored 4 goals. Now, I'm not saying this is the fix. I'm just saying our squad is better suited to a 3-5-2 than it is a 3-4-3. And if we see that against Arsenal, if we start with a 3-5-2, I'll say it now, we might win. Was that a definitive statement?
Felt like it. I was just proud of you getting that formation numbers out.
we might win. Yeah.
And if all that comes together, well, isn't Conte's Inter Milan days was a 3-5-2
and a 3-4-3, but he's been quite rigid at Spurs with the 3-4-3. It's only when the games had to be changed, like against Chelsea, we actually played almost like a 4-2-4 against Chelsea when we were really chasing the game. And that's why they kind of overloaded us. Can you believe I'm just nailing it?
Mate, who are you?
No, it always happens.
Fancy doing a video for me?
Yeah.
On Tottenham game. Great again. Do you know what is important here is the Allcott jinx, of course. And when I do specifically a video of, and Catherine will back me up on this, of how someone has become great again, game over. So I did think I was like, it's the perfect time for this video. It's got a bit of room to grow as well. But then I thought, who's next? Tottenham are next. And what I would say is, knowing this video is going out, if I was a betting man, I put good money on Spurs to win that game. Now, knowing the Allcott jinx and the power it has.
You do sort of wonder when you're looking at that all or nothing with Arteta, and he's drawing pictures of brains and hearts on a board, and you're thinking, this can't work, can it? Like, that's not inspiring. The greatest thinkers of the game, the greatest tacticians of the game, don't draw hearts and brains holding hands on a whiteboard.
You know,
but then you remember how fucking stupid footballers are.
Well, so
I'll say that. You don't have to say that.
No.
They were like those Arsenal team. They're kids. They are going to relate to that simplistic, childlike terms of motivation, because in their brains they are like 11-year-old boys.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, so hang on, wait, so that's a brain, and that's a heart, and they're holding hands. So you use your brain and your heart to. Is that what? I got it. I've got what you're saying, Arteta. Brilliant. Thank you.
This visual representation makes sense. I imagine. I'm just intrigued. What's next? That's where I feel sad when it comes to All or Nothing. Arteta's like, guys, I want to show you something. It's just a picture of the Care Bears. It's like, this guy had a heart that would shoot out of his stomach. Anyway, what I do feel like is watching All or Nothing. You know when he's like, guys, stand up. That's always the signal for speech coming in. You know, what's next? And you know, like with a partner where they're saying something to you, it could be anything. This would be a good one for the comments actually. Is they're sort of saying something to you, and you know you've got to sort of poker face it up. But it's a struggle, and despite there being no change in the face, someone else seeing that person will know exactly what's going on. Again, I think we see it as people who've been talking about football for so long, and we've spoken about this in the past, is when you know someone has been thrown a question in a football show and they don't truly know the answer, their face will be dead straight, but they won't. But behind it, you know, it's just a tiny little twitch. And I feel like when Arteta goes, right, guys, stand up, although none of the Arsenal players' faces change, I can see into their soul, and they're going, oh, for fuck, really? Is he going to what's he going to pull out this time? A light bulb or a bloody
It's a bit like that.
Hit or miss.
It's a bit like that at Bull Street when someone like you might have. Can I just grab 10 minutes? And they're like, oh god, no.
But you would go because they were your boss. You go, yep. That's it. That's what it is. It's not an exhale. It's not an exhale. It's an inhale. So you go on. Ask me the question again.
James, can I just get 10 minutes?
Yep. So that, isn't it? Anyway, so what? Oh, this is what I did wonder. You know, we were talking about just because you were talking about you've been in the arena. You've got the 10,000 hours of the battle of Arsenal and Spurs. It says a discussion, right?
I honestly don't think there's anyone more expert than me in this field.
That's your arena.
Bearing in mind, I grew up in Holloway, right? From the minute I was born, my formative years, I was surrounded by Arsenal fans who were getting me. Yeah, they were getting me, right? And then I went to Pakeman School, which the nearest team was Arsenal. Then I moved from Pakeman School to Highbury Grove, which was right next to Highbury Stadium. Right, for every moment in my life since I could breathe, Arsenal have been there, and they've been attacking me, and their fans have been attacking me. To say that I'm not built for this, that there is an Arsenal fan out there that can lay a solitary finger on me or say anything that will hurt, you're deluded. Yeah. Nothing can happen. I've seen Arsenal do everything they've done. They've only gone a season unbeaten. They've won so many FA Cups. They've won the league. They've done all of that. And I still think you're wankers. There's nothing you can say.
Morgan Ryan says Flav is built different. You were born differently. You were born for this. You were born to do this. But what I want to know in the comments is, what is your arena? Cheeks and Nose, there's one thing that you cannot be. You'd be safe if it was like you have to win this, a bit like a gladiator, but it's in a specific field. What is your arena of life? It can be as small or as big as you want. Let us know in the comments below. Funniest ones will be read out.
What's yours, Jim?
What is my arena?
I think your arena is...
Let me know, guys. I'm terrible with this. This is why I ask the questions. I'm terrible answering them. What's my arena?
Just getting on with it.
Broad football waffle.
No, just want to make it... Just making things... wanting to get things done. And expecting the most from people.
Cracking on.
They're cracking on arena. This, no matter how shit your surroundings, how much mess there is around you, just cracking on.
yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, my arena would be in an incredibly unorganized setting, just getting on with it, just getting on with a simple task. There you go.
You should see his desktop. He doesn't know. He literally makes videos every day. And
I showed you my desktop though, and you said it was all right.
It was pretty good, but you don't know. You don't have project folders. You don't have scratch.
I do.
Discs.
I got better initially because I knew this needs to be right now at the start because this is not going to work out well. Right, let's head over to Twitter. See who's trending. Oh, one thing that I did, just because I looked it up yesterday, I thought you might find this funny. Was this morning? Do you see the whole this morning thing with Schofield and Willoughby jump the queue?
Completely acceptable.
Yeah, you're fine with it.
Well, I was talking about David Beckham. Was it us that were talking about David Beckham?
Maybe on a mailbag. Genius, absolute genius. Of sitting in the queue, standing in the queue. Clever.
No, I get it. But is it genius, mate? Because he'll never be more popular than he has been previously. So that's not his currency. His currency should be time, and he wasted loads of it by standing in that queue. He should have just gone, I'm David Beckham. I'm practically friends with Prince William. Can you get me in?
No. But think of the backlash of Scof and Holly.
What have they been accused of?
Well, they jumped the queue, didn't they? But
did they though?
Well,
because they weren't standing in the queue and suddenly they were there.
If you watch the clip is here. I'm not going to play it now, but if you watch the clip, what's amazing is the voice. Because I know how ITV works. They would have come in and Holly would have gone and done this voiceover, and so she can obviously choose what voice she wants to use.
Yeah.
And she's using this incredibly, very articulate, solemn voice because she didn't mean to jump the queue, but she understands how everyone's feeling about it, but deep down, I just want this to fucking go away as soon as possible.
Yeah, but can I just say something? They're busy, right? They have to do it. They have to save face. They have to be there. They have to be there. They have to. By not being there, it's worse, right? So they've got to be there. They probably go, well, if I've got... Here's the choice. I've got to be there. My bosses are saying you've got to go, but they're also saying you can't take 19 hours off work.
Sure.
Sit in a queue.
No, I get that. You're
So
right.
what are they supposed to do?
No, it was funny. But for Beckham, what was clever, I watched a clip from, I think it's Off the Ball, it's called. And they were saying, someone in the PR team's gone, Beckham's gone, obviously it'd be a good look if I can, because the Qatar thing, a lot of people sort of feel like I sold out a little bit and I've kind of lost my Britishness a bit. So is there something we could do here? There feels like there's an angle here. But I don't, obviously, so what we need to do is we need to find a way so David can jump the queue. And then one guy's gone, what if he joins the queue?
What if he joins the queue? And they're like...
And David's like, well, yeah, but that's going to be like 13 hours minimum, isn't it?
What do you mean? What do you mean join the queue? Where do I join the queue?
I haven't queued since I was 20.
I can't even spell queue.
What queue as in like a pool queue? No, David. It's sort of a line where you wait.
Are you telling me that he walked up there on his own and stood in a queue for 13 hours? He did it, and he wasn't mobbed constantly for 13 hours?
He obviously took a lot of pictures, which I think it's just something that you have to do. Do you know what I think? Have you seen the moment where he actually gets to the Queen? Gets to the Queen and is able to bow. He's just before he gets there. People in the chat, having a go at how David would spell the word Q. Joseph's gone with just the letter Q. Josh Rogers has gone with CUWE. There's a moment where he's the sort of one person before two people before he gets to bow, and he sort of has a moment. You could tell he's emotional, and my thought was that yes, of course, he's probably a bit emotional to sort of see the Queen, who I imagine he's met once or twice. But I think deep down he's gone, I've done it. This is over. 13 hours. He's actually crying. I think he's got emotional because he's like, this is nearly over. I can go home to my incredible place and my butler's going to make me this unbelievable meal. Can't wait.
And I see that Victoria Beckham's getting a load of stick because she weren't in the
she can be asked. Really?
But maybe she didn't want to.
On her diet, she's not got there's not the carbohydrates there to really see her through.
I understand it, right? I understand, like, if people... I'm never going to dig anyone out for going to, like, David Beckham for queuing and doing it, right? Do what you want to fucking do.
Sure.
Do it. If it makes you happy and you feel a sense of sovereignty and Britishness, or you just feel it was the right thing to do and you love the Queen and it moves you, fine, that's crack on. But don't dig someone out for not doing it. Like, leave her alone if she didn't want to do it. It's up to David Beckham. They're not, like, joined at the hip. Yeah, married. Well, you should have joined your husband in this queue. Well, you should shut the fuck up and keep your opinion to yourself.
Can't say.
That's what I say.
Right. Let's find a title. Wrong answers only. Let's see what comes out. I haven't seen these, to be honest, so we'll see. Catherine, this really is a wrong answer. Scraping the League Cup, yes or no? I'm so confused with that, Catherine. I don't have no... And it's terrible. League Cup. People aren't going to go, oh, League Cup, let me click on that. So, spot on. Well done, Catherine. Good. Scraping the League Cup. Or scrapping. Oh, no, Catherine.
No.
Oh, no. You meant scrapping.
No. There's still value in it.
Okay.
Especially for, like, the... There's no value in Spurs winging it, but there's value for other teams.
Oh, Chelsea finished. I did see one. Will there ever be another Premier League game? Do you know what I find so odd? And maybe it's obviously because we're too close to it. I love any stoppages of games. And there's just like, because it's just like game. Maybe it's obviously got to make content on it all. When there's like a stop, I'm not saying, obviously, we didn't want the Queen to pass away. But then the stop, like when the games were off for your wedding, I was like, fantastic. I haven't got to take in any information. And now with an international break again.
Yeah, but we're going to
just have a
hard.
breather.
Hit hard next month. It's a big one.
People don't understand the struggle. Graham Potter and the Curse of the Chelsea Striker. That is quite a good title, actually. It's like Harry Potter, isn't it? This is interesting. Out of context, James and Flav for now. How many games has Potter got left? Drew that first one. Grumblings in the fan base. Something's not right.
What has, like, just legitimately, has there been any kind of negative opinion from Chelsea fans yet? Obviously not. It's just one game, right?
Yeah. How soon into a new manager can you turn on them? Is it best to sort of, if you're that way inclined, is it best to do it early and just ride it out? Do you know what I mean? because I think this is kind of happening with Southgate.
I think it happened with Arteta as well, right? He didn't get a lot of. Like there are a lot of Arsenal fans that would have wanted him gone instead of just sort of waiting it out, which every fan should do. Is that what your question was?
Well, I'm sort of like, I think sometimes as football fans that the desire is, obviously we know nothing, but the desire is to get it right, isn't it? You kind of go, well, I called this, and with
as fans,
yeah. So with managers. When's the time to go? So let me move this to Southgate because it's kind of in my mind a little bit, right? So it's kind of, for a bit I was kind of trying, I was like, no guys, no, stay on board with Southgate, and then I thought to myself, well, no, actually you've got to keep, you've got to base it on what's right and what's fair, and if there's going to come a moment where maybe he's, he is losing us. Like there's a moment where a manager is in your embrace, right? And then a couple of things are sort of wrong and it irritates you and you sort of loosen that cuddle. And then a few more things don't go right, and sooner or later you make the decision, don't you? You're Wenger out, or you're Arteta out, or you're Tuchel out, or you're Southgate out.
Yeah.
I just find that fascinating of like, when is the right time to make that move? Because if you just want to be correct, you go so early.
If that's what you're driving you is to go correct, but it's much better to go, fuck, I was wrong. Much better. Much better to go, I'm going to be wrong and now I'm going to enjoy the football. But there are people like, Arteta's a good example because there's
Rodgers
so much
is a good example as well.
Rodgers.
Yeah, as in like, I don't think anyone can truly say he's a bad manager. He's had a great career as a manager, right?
On the FA Cup with Leicester, and for large parts of his reign at Leicester, he's been very good.
And what will be so funny is because I retweeted it today, and I thought it was a great tweet from someone. Someone said, sacking a manager is the equivalent of turning the switch on and off. Restarting the computer, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but you look at Tuchel and Potter, and you think, like, on paper, there's one coach that's significantly better and more successful than the other,
right?
But it's not binary, because you could look at Potter and go, actually, no, this is a guy who's hungry, who's on the up, who hasn't won anything, can put so much energy into this opportunity that it actually catapults Chelsea. Not necessarily, I don't know what it catapults them to, because can you see Graham Potter winning the Champions League with Chelsea? At the moment, no, because we haven't seen him win anything with anybody yet. But we do understand he's an excellent coach, so you can give him that opportunity. Whereas Tuchel, you think, well, if I at Spurs right now, it would be a difficult decision because I've just seen what happened at Chelsea and how quickly Tuchel fell off. But there aren't many clubs in Europe that would take Potter over Tuchel. So what is it? And I think it's just at Chelsea they needed to change, and people had made their mind up about Tuchel. There was something wrong at Chelsea and something wrong with that fit. Towards the end of last season, things started to go wrong. It's similar to Pochettino at Spurs. Had a great period, didn't even do anywhere near what Tuchel did. But then he had this period where you're thinking, actually, I can see this week in, week out that something isn't right. And then inevitably he was sacked, and same with Tuchel. And then they went for Graham Potter. I think it was a brave appointment. But what I'm saying is if a fan has made up his mind about Tuchel and now he's right, that's fair enough. But now he's got to get on board with Graham Potter. The problem is, Jim, is it comes from petulance. It comes from a place where the fans are angry.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do, and they don't know how the situation is going to change. So they just go Arteta out, Tuchel out, or whatever it might be. Because bear in mind, just going back to Arsenal, because it's the easiest example to use, because there's so much content that fans make about Arsenal, so you get an insight into what their fan base may or may not be thinking. There are YouTubers who, and it's often people who have to make content. There are people that pin their I will do Sam's in here.
Something to the mast.
Colours. Yeah. And they pin. I don't even tie it. Whatever it is. Colours to the mast, right? Colours to the mast, and they can't change. It's like Rory. Rory could have gone on, but with the Haaland thing.
Yeah.
for ages, but he realised this is impossible for me to defend anymore.
Yeah.
But with,
and it
with
was like
managers,
get out now. He
more
had to get out now. This was like the sort of the tier. He'd gone in. You know that what's it called? SAS, where they do the thing where they get them to go in where there's tear gas. He's sort of gone in the room. He's gone in the Haaland room, and then he's seeing the tear gas. Yeah, he said, this is not going to get any better. I need to get out of here now so I can breathe. This only gets worse. But this is what I mean. I think this is so fascinating. This is so fascinating because I'm in this place as someone who makes content.
Yeah.
I have been a Southgate guy. I think I am overall a Southgate guy because I want him to do well. I want England to do well. And I also understand both the riches that he has, but the difficulties that he has, because the biggest problem that he's got is he's the England manager. And so you're the England manager, and this is what I think broadly, because we're in this is the moment of the season, isn't it? Where, because as much as it's about the manager, you're right. If we list managers, right? If I said to you, okay, Tuchel, Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter, Gareth Southgate, list them in how good they are. I think you'll get forget the job they're at. Literally, they're all
just
available.
On the quality of the coach. Who would you want at your club?
Who would you want at your club? It's so funny, isn't it?
What do you think it would be for most people on average? To answer that question, Jim, what do you think it would be?
I think it would be. So I'll give you mine. I think it's so hard with Southgate because I think people will never really give him the credit he deserves for the intangible things that he has done for England. When you really,
Jim, what would you choose? We understand the reasons.
Yeah. But when it comes, and this is the stick you can chuck at Southgate. Is my list would be for a club.
Yeah,
would be for QPR. I would want. See, this is where I've got a problem with Tuchel, but stripping Chelsea away from Tuchel, he's never managed Chelsea. He did all the things he did with Chelsea for another club.
Yes,
It's Tuchel. Oh, it's Tuchel Rodgers. It's Tuchel Rodgers. Potter Southgate.
I think it's Tuchel, Potter, Rodgers. No, I think it's Tuchel.
It's tough, isn't it?
At this moment, but it's not. You can't do it on moment because you've got to look at everything they've achieved. And would any of those managers achieve what Southgate has done for England?
That's such an important point. That's such an important point because the thing is, first of all, in terms of everyone wanting to get rid of him, again, people go, oh well, we'll just find someone better.
Final.
We've got to the final, but I think more so than that, the way he is. The poise with which he's shown time and again on what is an impossible job.
He's made an impossible job possible, genuinely. And the pressures of England are unreal.
Yeah. And when you sorry, I'm passionate about this one.
But you're not just dealing with fans, you're also dealing with the fucking media, which is the worst. Sorry.
Exactly. And so and also the turning up, he can't win. He cannot win because his club management career, which will always be thrown at him, and it's a bit like Guardiola a little bit in terms of like, oh, look, you've got all these players. But we've had good players for a long time and they weren't able to get anything out of them. What I would say, and this is why I find this whole thing fascinating, is both talking about this at this moment in time, when you're getting rid of a manager or like I say, that moment where you sort of turn on a manager, right? Not only what they've done or what they're currently doing, the recent problems with a manager or a team, it's also the moment in the season, right? Because at this moment, say with the Southgate thing, I'm not ready to let go of Southgate because it is pointless because we've got World Cup literally right there. So for me, however you feel about it, he's earned the right to have this tournament, and so we should try and, give him the support that he needs from our point of view because we know full well it can make a huge difference, right? But for the Brendan Rodgers and the Tuchels of this world, who we know are very, very good coaches, part of the sort of animosity, I guess, is that there's so much time left of the season. It's like, yeah, get rid of him now because we can sort ourselves out. So there's so many elements to it.
I just want to go back to the Southgate thing. You're right. And Leicester played well enough against Spurs, although the score, we ran away in the end, right? But Leicester were trying to get something from the game. And it was like two moments in absolute brilliance from Heung-min Son. But you look at Southgate's reign, qualified for 2 major competitions with ease, with no problem, free scoring, slapping teams at time. Right? People forget that. I think Southgate's a boring team. His goal difference at England is up there with any other.
And by the way, Italy are not going to the World Cup this year. Didn't qualify,
and they won it. Right? So yeah. So there's that. Right. So England. Its performances under Southgate in those competitions have been better than any other manager. If you can take 2 of them, better than any other manager since we won it. Bobby Robson got us to the semi-final in whenever it was, 90. When was it? The World Cup.
Bobby Robson, 1990. Yeah.
1990. Sorry, yeah. So he got us to the semi-final, but Southgate has got us to a semi-final of a major competition and a final of another. And people will say, but look at the squad. Look at what he's got at his disposal. Was this squad better than... Was that first 11 as good as what Capello had? Or what the golden
Ericsson
generation
Ericsson
had? And they didn't get anywhere near. We were shit. We were absolutely shit. We got humiliated by Germany. What has Southgate's team's done to Germany? So
can I read more? So Morgan, we know is Irish now. So and he's coming for Southgate. Here, let me just talk about a couple of these things, because I did a video on the channel on Sunday where I think it's okay to critique Southgate. I think it's okay to critique the recent results. I think it's okay to say that we don't play exciting enough football. But I also think you just need to understand what he has done. And so, for example, Morgan says here, he's lost a final at home in capital letters, right? The tournament was in England. What is he supposed to... So he's only won one game
what happened
outside
to us in European in 96? What happened to us? We got to, what was it, the semi-final?
Yeah. But my point is, you can't... So Morgan, you're throwing away every good thing that he's done because certain circumstances have worked out for him. He can only achieve what's put in front of him, right? The tournament was in this country, so he had to get on with it, right? There's another one for him. Where is it? Every England manager has qualified for a major tournament with ease. Well, Steve McLaren hasn't.
No, but that's not true.
And again, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's not got a good squad, and we should be evolving. We should be getting better. There's more money in this league than any other league. I get the high expectations, but I just feel like he has earned the right. And
he's earned the right, and to be respected, I think.
I think that's where I get annoyed.
That's why we're having this conversation, James, and we've had it on this pod before, defending him. It's not that he's the greatest manager that we could possibly have, and it isn't that another manager could come in and do a better job. Maybe they could, maybe they wouldn't. But the fact is that he's done incredibly well as England manager. Again, better than anyone since Alf Ramsey. Yeah. And it's like he's a piece of shit.
That's it. I think it's a lack of respect. Yeah, the energy is, and do you know what it is? It just feels a bit lazy to me. It just feels a little bit lazy to me. Where it's like you're saying, it's kind of it feels like it's for the sake of it, in the sense of it's an international break and we haven't really got too much to talk about, and we should be slapping everyone 7-0 because we've got all these great players. We have got all these great players, and the performances they have to be better. But it's not. Again, yeah, you're right. It's not how football works. And I think, look, coming back to the manager thing, finishing it off, is I think there are cycles, and I think familiarity breeds contempt, and I think we're getting to that point. But
if he goes after this tournament, that's fine. If he resigns, if we get to the semi-final or even the final, and he's going, okay, that's enough, and he goes, then you go, fair enough. Or if we get knocked out of the group stage, okay, well, that's a disaster. Right now it's time. Evidence is there.
Yeah,
currently, we don't know this until we know, and there'll be a lot of revisionism, a lot of people talking about things in hindsight.
That's a good word as well. I think it's the revisionism that disappoints me, because, holistically, again, the entire nation despised the England squad team, and I think at the bare minimum, I can understand the feeling in terms of look how good all these players are. We should be better on the pitch. I get that, but just a respect level would be nice.
Do you remember what he overtook? What he took over from?
Yeah, Allardyce.
Sam Allardyce, who got sacked after one game because of controversy and underhand things. That's what he incorporated. And who was before Allardyce?
Who was it? Hodgson. There you go.
So what did he take over? He took over a job that was a mess. And when he did take over Southgate, we thought, God, it's going to be another 3 years of the same thing, same shit, more Hodgson stuff. And the fact is, it hasn't been that. It's been much better than that.
Indeed. That's it. And I think whatever happens in this tournament, again, I think it's one of those, it might be like, shake your hand and go, look, Southgate, you've done brilliantly here, but it feels like it's the end now because we've gone out in the quarterfinals to a rubbish team and we've not played good football. I think the mix of those two is fine because it is a special group of players now. I think that's fair to say. But between now and the end of the tournament, that's where I get a little bit rattled. Is between now and the end of the tournament, can we just offer him a little bit of respect? All right.
Or support.
Yeah, because we are supposedly supporters.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what if he gets to the final? What do we do then? Because that's not beyond the realms of. I mean, we could easily get to the final. He's got to stay again. Even if we lose the final, he has to stay again, right? Or maybe it's up to him whether he walks away. But if he stays, but there won't be. You know what will happen. Even if that is the case, you'll still get people going. Yeah, no, it should be someone else.
Yeah. He didn't do anything with Middlesbrough. He was 35.
Would you swap him for Jose Mourinho?
You know how I feel about this. Oh, look, full circle. Xenophobia. You've got with a country with this much history within football, we can't find an English manager. I think when it comes to that, I think you should be English. It's just how I feel.
I mean, I couldn't give a shit. I think whoever just get the best manager will make us win.
No, I hate that. That's not winning properly.
Other countries do it. It's an even playing field. Everyone can do it.
That's up to them. Yeah. Right. Enough football chat. Enough of that nonsense. Let's go through the comments. And we've got some madness here. The Jim Big Laugh Award. Probably should have said this at the start. But Jersey says, update. Ben Foster was so rattled by Jaffin taking the top podcast spot that you've literally retired him. Jaffin is so good at podcasts that it literally retires other sports podcasters. Mind blown.
Has he stopped doing his podcast?
Ben Foster's officially retired. He saw the charts.
Oh, right, as a player.
He was rattled, and he was rattled. He went, I need to give every single piece of me here and focus on the podcast because if these chances are finishing top spot, something's wrong.
Haven't you met him? Have you interviewed him?
Yeah, lovely man. Lovely man.
Yeah. Did you send him a screen grab? You got his number. You should have sent him a screen grab.
Should have. And then picture me just going like that. Top comments. This was the top comment this week. Nickow, Edmund Smile. I think that's how you say name. Unwritten rule. You can't criticise a podcast if it's number one for its genre in the UK charts.
No criticism is needed.
Impossible. Top Bay with the reply, which made me laugh as well. Unless they advocate for a breakaway podcast chart featuring only the most popular podcasts, thus destabilising the whole podcast pyramid.
Very good.
Very good. Where are we? Okay, fandom chat. Intrigued to get your feelings on this. So
I feel uncomfortable already. I don't know why.
I know, and I think this might be the last one. Do you know what I realised? Is this an unwritten rule, right? If you take the piss out of something twice, that's fine. But if you do it 3 times, it's bullying.
I think it depends who
twice
it's about.
Is fine.
Yeah.
Twice is fine.
Well, who are we taking a piss out of?
I don't know. Just generally. Well, let's see. Let's go. We can call it a day after this. But there's interesting angles on this. Matthew Woodhouse. As a young boy, my granddad and dad tried so hard to get me to support my local club, and who they supported being Ipswich Town, telling me stories of the glory days. Of course, they won the UEFA Cup under Bobby Robson in the 80s. 82, I want to say. Maybe 84. I couldn't imagine this after being introduced to Mick McCarthy grinded masterclasses. I attempted to jump ship and support the fun team at the time, being Manchester United. Alex Ferguson was more interesting to me than Mick McCarthy. Shocking. However, and to Flav's delight, I was sat down intervention style by my dad and granddad and told that Ipswich was my club and that they wouldn't have it any other way. 14 years later and 8 consecutive season tickets at Ipswich Town. I now, through a difficult time for the club, I now can't imagine supporting any other team and actually prefer League One football to Premier League football. Great parenting and cold Tuesday nights watching turgid football are what made me an Ipswich fan, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thoughts?
No, this is good. This is good. I thought this was about the sort of fantasy stories. That's what I thought that was then. So I'm talking about when they fan fiction type thing.
Oh, okay. Well, we have got that on Jake Humphries coming up soon. But
that's it. That's the one I feel like a bit icky about, but I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. We'll see. I think you'd be fine.
So I love that. But you know what I've come to realize? Look, there are lots of people that love football that don't have a footballing household.
Sure.
And if you don't have a footballing household, it's natural that you're going to sway towards the lures of a massive Premier League team, especially one like Man City. And it's unfortunate, and it does stick in the throat somewhat.
Sure.
But I get it. I understand it. But when your parents are taking you to Ipswich, there will come a time where you'll appreciate it. Because the feeling you have when Ipswich, inevitably in the future, at some point in your life, will experience, and it may have happened already, I don't follow Ipswich Town, but you'll experience a promotion from League One, right? And when you experience that feeling will be greater than any other feeling that someone who's chosen to support Man City because they're the best team, right? That is guaranteed. So what your feeling of glory is sometimes greater than what someone would experience in the Premier League. Like Spurs winning the FA Cup would mean 10 times more as a fan to me than it would a Man City fan who've won it several times in the last few years. Because
are you trying to say this means more? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say that it will mean more to an Ipswich Town fan because they've put the yards in, put the miles in. It's not even humiliation. You're just working. Sometimes watching your team play, and I've had it with Spurs in the 90s where we were I've got to say it, just nothing. As a footballing entity, nothing. We'd go week in, week out, away from home, and what was important was the community. You was as a fan base, and no matter how shit it was, you're Spurs, right? The more successful you become, the less that's important. It's a big shame. But what you have as QPR fan and as an Ipswich Town fan, more to the point, because it's been longer since you had your stint in the big league, is something much more pure and actually much more connected to what is genuinely important at football, which is community.
Adam Sullivan is one of our patrons.
Well done to your dad.
Yeah, well done to your dad. Adam Sullivan, one of our patrons, says Brentford's promotion to the Prem was one of the best days of my life. What I would like to know is, how are you feeling about these Prem days? Does it still feel really good fun? Are you starting to acclimatise to the altitude of the Premier League?
That's the shame. That's the bit where it starts to become less fun.
It's the climb. Regan Brannigan. I wanted to support Arsenal when I was about 6 because they had the best team in one of the early 2000s FIFA games. My dad took me around all of my football coaches, and one by one they told me how bad it would be choosing to support anyone but Newcastle, brackets the local team. The parents of the other children joined in too, and I changed back to Newcastle after about a week. I fear the repercussions if I hadn't, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah, and look at all the shit you've gone through. Look at all the crap you've gone through, and now suddenly things
you're buying it, and now you're going to buy it.
Now you're buying it. Now you're going to buy it, and then you're really going to be ruined. But before that, enjoy the bit where you get all the success.
Yes, I think Newcastle fans have probably got about 4 years until people get. Oh, well, no, you bought it though. You've bought it.
No, but it's interesting with Newcastle is because while they will be successful, and it could well be that they win a cup before we do, right? There is more competition. There was no competition. No one could compete with Chelsea, and no one could compete with Man City when they become like 100 times more financially powerful than Chelsea, whatever it might be. Whereas Newcastle will eventually have competition with Chelsea and Man City as financial powerhouses, and probably other clubs in the Premier League as well. So I think Newcastle's will be seen as a little bit more acceptable, their victories if they do come, than Man City's were. I think Newcastle, as they're kind of people got used to that super sort of oligarchical structure, that Newcastle will get more of a buy than Manchester City fans have. I think that's my prediction.
Yeah, that is true. That is That's not right. But I completely get what you're saying.
No, it's not right in an ethical, moral sense.
No.
I think it's a point that is
It's
correct.
the state of play, sadly. Yeah. Ed Nicole, a mate of mine, was a lifelong Barcelona fan. Brackets, we live in Cobham, by the way, and everyone is a Chelsea fan.
That's too far. That's too much.
Right. When I saw him after a few years
lifelong, like gone week in, week out. I live and breathe Barcelona.
Might be Spanish. Maybe Spanish.
All right, okay.
When I saw him after a few years apart, no, I think you're going to like this guy. Wait, just listen to this.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I jumped.
When I saw him after a few years apart, I asked him what he thought about the Barca financial mess. He told me he was no longer a Barca fan.
Wow.
But supported PSG as he as he just follows Messi's career exclusively. He still has a Barcelona flag imprinted onto the roof of his car, though. Not sure what his plan is when Messi turns 40. I suppose he can only move forwards.
I mean, I'd welcome anybody in as a slug, but not everybody.
Yeah, I'd go. Do you know what I'd hear? If he was a mate of mine, I'd say, look, I wish you all the best, but I just don't think we could be friends.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're not the same.
Yeah. How to stop Erling Haaland, Flav? How do we do it? Can we work together as a team to just calm him down a bit? We're talking about possibly a sort of metatarsal would be the right injury. Sam Bishop's gone possibly too far, but then reined it back. Let's see. Okay. He says, I'd be okay with Haaland being paralysed from the waist down for 3 to 5 years. I think that probably limits him to about 7 goals a season in the City side. It feels like a bit too much.
Yeah.
But this is a little masterstroke from Thomas Martin, son of Nigel Martin, of course. He says, speaking of stopping Haaland, I believe that I have a plan. Of course, mine and Erling's fathers know each other well. I've added well. But hypothetically, perhaps if I were to convince my father to give Alfie a ring and invite the Haaland family over for dinner, and perhaps Agent Thomas Martin, that's him, of his Sluggies Secret Service, were to accidentally drop a huge bowl of spaghetti bolognese on Erling's foot, what a pickle he'd be in. Hypothetically, of course.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm not saying that's an option, but I think if you could create an opportunity to share some spag bowl with Erling and his dad, then why not?
I imagine, like, this isn't a slight on you, Thomas. Can imagine this anybody, right? But your dad and Haaland played with each other at Leeds, if that's right. Mm-hmm. Feels about right, doesn't it? Time match up.
That is correct.
And the Haaland family come round for dinner. And you're the son of the other player, me. Imagine Nigel Martin is me, and I'm sitting at the table, and across from me is a 21-year-old Erling Haaland. Just think, I'd feel a little bit insecure. I feel like, look at him. I can't keep up with him. Can you not invite him round again? Do you know what I mean? The best thing you can do is drop a massive bowl of just on a petty level.
Yeah, I think, you're right.
Please don't invite him around, Dad. Please.
Yeah. I don't need that, do you?
He's unreal. He's unworldly. It's the power, I think. Power.
Could he do it? Could he do it at Swansea? Probably.
Yes.
Probably good.
All he then needs to do is put the ball into his area, and he'll find a way.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Is like there's some players. There are some players out there that require a system to work for them, whereas Erling Haaland could play up front for Swansea and bag 40 goals.
Yeah,
hit it at him.
The cheat code, sort of mocker, is that the word? It does make sense. Really does.
Monica.
Mocha's
a coffee.
Sorry. Right. Jake Humphrey encounters. Phil Boggild, remember that name because there's a couple of funny comments from him. I think he's a good one, so stick around, Phil. This had 209 likes and 13 replies, so I sort of have to read it out. And it did make me laugh. Phil says, I saw Jake Humphreys once at Bulldog Services. This is perhaps 10 years ago, before he was on BT. In fact, I think he was still on CBBC at the time. He was with a woman who I would describe as a 14 out of 10.
Wow.
And he left her in the McDonald's queue, spelt Queue, David, if you're watching, so that he could go to the toilet, being a creature whose exquisite beauty was matched only by her caprice. I don't know what caprice means.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, she seemed to lose interest in the whole endeavour and just wandered off to an unknown location. Jake returned and rotated in place quizzically, trying to locate her. I called out to him from my place in the queue, Jakey. When he finally made eye contact with me, I said, she's gone, Jakey. She's gone. He looked at me trying to figure out if I was a problem or not, before finally giving me a silent nod that I took as thanks for watching, before wandering away in search of his lost treasure. The end.
Wonderful.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what to say from that. Is it true? And if it's not true,
just really
why? It's sort of bordering on boring, but also it's the right side of weird.
Yeah,
that it isn't boring. So it's so mundane that it could be true. That's, I think, the beauty of it.
Yeah, but also I'm worried because it's a dangerous thread to pull at, because I don't want to be reading fucking 8 of these.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
like really well written but boring scenarios. What's the most entertaining, boring piece of 100 words you can put together? If you can make it 50 words boring and entertaining at the same time, that would be amazing.
That's kind of That's it. That's this podcast, isn't it? Office. Speaking of which, office chat.
Yeah, lovely.
We're talk about those insufferable people who kind of want to talk about football but don't really know what they're talking about, but you have to do it because you're colleagues. Ashley Smith says, there was a guy I work with who is a Man United fan. He would constantly say how much he rated Timothy Fosu-Mensah and would ask why he hasn't been playing. I looked it up and it turns out he signed for Bayer Leverkusen in 2021. I don't have the heart to tell him.
It's funny, like sometimes in football, like these transfers that just go under the radar. Like they're just like, what did that happen? Like, who is it? Artur signed for. Is it Artur or is it Arthur?
Yeah.
Signed for Liverpool. Was it Liverpool?
Yeah.
Just like I don't remember that happening at all, and then suddenly it's just there.
Yeah. Have you seen? There's a couple of funny ones. You see, Jay Spearing. So
I saw he was trending the other day.
Yeah. So there's this new thing where you'll have sort of old players will go and play for the under-23s and essentially mentor, I think, the youngsters, but they'll play in those games with the under-23s. So Jay Spearing, who's been captain of Tranmere over the last few years, had a good career, has gone back to Liverpool to play for the under-23s, play with Artemelo the other day. And Tom Huddleston's gone and done it at Man United.
That's right. Yeah, it seems to be a sort of new way of. Is it new? I don't know. Is it? I can get like you could learn from playing next to someone who's experienced and much better than you. I get the idea.
It's just too much. It just highlights how much money clubs have.
Yeah, when you can get a player that could play well in the Championship level or League One level, and he's just playing for the under-21s with a massive.
Come sit here. Jack Kirby, office chat. I once had a man in the office ask me, "How's it going, dude?" Which initially threw me off. I then looked up and saw him dressed entirely in blue. Shirt, trousers, shoes, everything. Which yet again threw me off. I was caught so off guard, I then blurred out, "How's it going, dude?" Back at him. We made our teas in silence, and I haven't seen him since. He must have died. It's just that he must have died. Made me laugh. There's nothing for you to say on that. Right, Potter is the type of guy.
What you want?
No.
Just going to sit and enjoy it. Really.
Last week we spoke about him, talking about his first impressions of him and Aubameyang and all that. Phil Bogild's back. The guy had the Jake Humphries encounter. He said, I think Graham Potter. Potter is the type of guy. Graham Potter has alphabetti spaghetti for tea, microwaved, and he starts every meal by spelling out Graham on the rim of his plate so that he can look at it while he eats and smile to himself. By the time he's finished, though, the Graham has gone cold, so he just scrapes it into the bin with a tinge of melancholy.
Very good.
Big Burrito. Graham Potter seems like the kind of guy to be the one dad that drives his kids to practice among all the mums. He's always good for a ride home. He'll share a soda from his cooler if you asked. And he doesn't talk much. I like that little end of it. Doesn't talk much. James Copland. I can imagine Graham Potter watching Wallace and Gromit whilst nibbling on a biscuit and drinking a cup of tea, only occasionally stopping to mouth the words because he's seen it so many times. Very good. Well done, James. Our last one. Welsh Wizard. Hi, lads. Just checking in. I've been a long-time subscriber and viewer since the one for the weekend days. I've had a comments section hiatus for the last couple of years, but I couldn't resist getting in on the Graham Potter bashing.
Nice.
Bashing,
trying to get to the bottom of him.
For me, Graham represents the pinnacle of averageness and midlife obscurity, whilst also having a whiff of high school geek/kid pretending to be a car on the playground vibe. Right.
That's what it is.
And this is why, I was saying if we do it twice, it's not bullying. I feel like this is the end of Graham Potter.
He's a manager of Chelsea Football Club. This is the epitome of punching up.
So Graham Potter does the following. 1, he treats himself to a microwavable shepherd's pie on Fridays, which he eats out of a plastic container, always forgetting it's too hot when he takes the first mouthful.
Well, to be honest, I do that pretty much at every meal.
Oh, Joe, that's my arena. That's my arena.
Or eating really hot food.
I'm really good at eating hot food. We had it yesterday. My mother-in-law makes these amazing big spring rolls, which you have with like noodles and vegetables and this amazing sauce.
Yes.
And I'll finish a cup of tea. If you had a cup of tea race, freshly boiled cup of tea,
you'd win.
Oh, smash it back. Yeah, I'm
pretty good at that as well, to be honest. Well, but do you never burn your tongue when you roof your mouth? Because that's
just crack
a couple
on.
of days.
I'm an expert. That's my arena. I'm delighted I found it.
Got asbestos mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two. Graham Potter is a keen swimmer. He takes lane swimming very seriously at his local gym, making too much noise in the pool and wearing goggles that are too tight for his face. 3. He wears a travel belt at all times with extra safety cash in a hidden zip compartment for emergencies. Love the pod, guys. Been a busy last year for me, so I didn't watch the pod in 2021. Oh. But I'm back and really enjoying it. By the way, congrats, Flav, on the wedding. Oh, cheers, P.S. This will likely fall into your bit for right. Wondering what your thoughts are on being a Welsh supporter and keeping track of all Welsh teams in English football. Personally, I like to see Swansea, Cardiff and Newport do well, and it feels differently as it feels I'm supporting Wales, so less dodgy. However, I am an Arsenal fan, which I know may cause controversy, as there's no good Welsh teams. But then again, I am nowhere near Arsenal in terms of geography. Thought it may spark some debate. I'm open to criticism.
I don't want to do it again, so I'm not going to. But the Wales stuff is different, right? Because you're a Welsh man, right? And the Wales typically have a certain disdain for many reasons for the English. And also Wales, everybody in Wales gets behind England, whereas England's a lot more fractious. So I can understand it. You essentially want any Welsh team to beat any English team, and I get where that comes.
Yeah. Right, finish off with the Samism. And that's it. Rob Reed overheard a Samism recently at a game. Do you know what, Stephen? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but Stephen Tries is doing the commentary for the Sidemen charity match, and he messaged me, and he's concerned about dropping some Samisms on quite literally one of the biggest stages there are in terms of
Can we ask Louis to grab all of them?
Yeah,
and then we'll play them on the show.
Or keep an eye out for Samisms from Stephen. I said to him, look, it's unavoidable.
It's not something you can control. What we've learned is this is the way the human brain works, and everybody is susceptible. And what's great about this podcast is there's no safe place for it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not at any moment anyone slips up. You have to chronicleize it and bring it up on the pod, and you'll never be forgiven for it. So this isn't a safe place for Samisms. This is one that encourages bullying when it comes to Samisms.
Okay. Enjoy the day, Stephen.
Any chance you can get a game? At what point? How many subscribers do you need to get a game?
At least 1 million.
Do you reckon?
So please subscribe, guys. Give me a chance.
Who's playing in it? Is it like Chunks, Philly, that level?
Yes, huge. It's huge. I said Stephen. I won't say who's doing it with. Well, actually, I will. He's doing co-commentary with Spencer, and I was like, fair point. I said maybe if you can cancel him, if you can get him cancelled, like on stream, sort of ask him some sort of questions that trip him up,
tricky ones.
Yeah, he can get cancelled, and I can take his place next year. So
I was approached by some sort of PR company recently, and they wanted to do this thing with Spurs and Arsenal before the game. Usually it's just to get Arsenal Spurs fans on, get them debating and stuff, but this one was like, no, we're going to play games. You're going to play games. And I was like, you can imagine me like when like that. No. But then he went, I said, who's the Arsenal fan? He went, oh, Chunks. And I was like, well, maybe I will do it. But then he explained the concept and when it was, and if it is Chunks, then I'd be amazed. But we'll see.
Okay.
Still, I turned it down.
Fascinating. That is funny, that isn't it? I had that with I was supposed to play football with all the YouTube lot, and people started dropping out, and so by like 6 o'clock, I was like, I'm calling it. It's dead. And then I made plans for other stuff, and I went back on Twitter at like 10, and they'd sort of summed up all basically like loads of the sidemen, and I was like, and I was like, oh shit, it's too late for me now, so I messaged going, oh guys, I'd said I couldn't play, and they're like, Jay, look, fuck's sake, and I was like, I'm sorry, and then they went, and then Ethan went, oh, it's all right, I've got JME in, and I thought, oh, fuck, JME, that's really cool. It's like, can I cancel this other thing? Oh, it's too late, though, because he's taken my spot. So be careful.
When you said Ethan, are you talking about one of the sidemen?
Bazinga, yeah.
What's going on in your life? I feel like you're moving in circles. I mean, I'm happy for you. Don't get me wrong. What is going on, Jim?
Well, still didn't get the call up, did I? The sidemen games. So.
You would have done if you hadn't, I mean, not that one, but the five-a-side one. You wouldn't have done if you hadn't made other plans. A silly boy.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah, Amazon. Here we go. We'll end on this abruptly because people seem to like it last week. If you are new, by the way, and you want to become a patron, get involved. Lesson in English, London Pint. Rob Reed, overheard of Amazon recently at a game after a corner was overhit, clearing everybody in the box and bounced out for a throw. I heard a man in front of me exclaim, "He's overcooked the pooch." I assume it's a combination between the two slightly strange. The two slightly strange to begin with animal sayings of "screwed the pooch" and "overcooked the goose."
Overcooked the goose, I get. Screwed the pooch, I've never heard of that, ever. Like, we don't even use pooch in England. I reckon Robert, I might be calling bullshit here.
Yeah?
Maybe.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't done that for a while, but...
Yeah.
Well, we did it a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know, Rob. It just doesn't feel right, this one. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. Do you want to say, in no football stadium should you ever be using the word pooch?
Yeah, it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
Final bit, actually. There you go. Any words that just shouldn't be shouted
football.
At football. Pooch.
All right, yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments below.
Go on.
And Rebecca Cully just says that she can provide some questions for the end of the pod if we wish. Should we put a pin in that one?
Put a pin in that one.
We'll save that one for the
mailbag.
Mailbag. And if you want to know what that means, become a patron. Links in the description below.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you straight up. Rebecca Cully provides some horrific questions that we then have to answer. So.
They're impossible to answer, really.
And think of the worst question you could ever answer. Yes, they do involve my parents, and yes, I hate answering them. Yeah. So become a patron. See you later. Bye. Have a good week.